Hello and welcome back to Football Manager 2021. After a bit of a setback last recording session against Chippa United, we're back to take on Real Kings and Super Sport in the Premierships, so at least we've got some more basic league matches today. Unfortunately, the brief attack on our terrible club finances I had made last month seems to have come to an end immediately, probably due to having to give a couple of people raises because I used them, which is just making it even more brutal what's going to happen to the team over the summer when we have to cut costs. But we're going to try to hold it together for this year anyway. We're just going to stay real quiet about how I lost in the cup to a team in the relegation zone. At least the Confederation Cup has been really nice to us with getting the rather weak draw against Hearts of Oak, but that's not an issue because they should be pretty beatable, but an event to deal with next time. I'm not overly worried about either of the matches we have today. Real Kings are probably the tougher challenge, but I've beat both these teams a lot, so we should be able to pull off victories again. The Chippa Cup match reminds us why we actually played them all, though. Because I should have been able to win that one, too. And the team showed up and played their hearts out. But Chippa just decided to have the game of their season against us. And there's only so much we can do about it. Get this back over to our league team layout. Don't love having Melula in at center back, but I don't think I have any better options available at the moment. Hopefully when we get to game day, someone will be rested that I can slot in there. We're predicted to have an easy win against Real Kings, so if I do have to stick Melula in, this is the match to do it in. What do they want for the under 21s? Xale. Yeah, I have no intention of using any of these guys. They might as well go play for the under 21s. Adam might come off the bench, but it's not likely enough to justify having him in there. Shuffle some people around just with changing abilities. The press is interested in our mentality coming into this match because we got trounced in the cup match, but I'm not too worried because we had that second leg at Africa afterwards, and we were able to bounce back, gut it out, and get a win there with a very weak side. So I'm hoping that turned everyone's mentality around, so they're feeling pretty good coming into this match again. I mean, I think that was the only loss we've suffered this half of the season so far, so the team's doing pretty well overall. I don't know why they say Matia's made no progress in training. He's improved a fair number of key stats. Took a hit on determination, but that's kind of the way it goes. His physical stats in particular, pretty much everything got a boost. Which is good, because Matia's on a fairly cheap contract, so I might have to use him next season. Nikoshi broke his leg. He plays for the under 21s though, so that's why I don't recognize the name. It sucks that he's out for 5 or 6 months, but I have no clue who he is, so it affects teams that I don't have any control over. I don't think he would have ever made an appearance for us this year. Good weather for the match. Good pitch condition. And a sellout, that's always nice to see. Now, I guess this is the best team I have today, which isn't ideal. Foster's not great. Mirosaviic's not great. Melula's pretty terrible. Senamela's pretty terrible. Saketlong's pretty terrible. This is one of the weakest teams I've had to field, but I think just the attrition of the schedule has gotten to people, and if I'm going to field a weak team, this is probably the match to do it in. I'm not terribly worried about Real Kings. I think I beat him with a weak team last half of the season too. In all the years I've been managing the team, I've never lost a match to them, so that's a good position to be sitting in. I mean, there's a first time for everything, but I'm going to focus on the positives here. Even with our weak defensive line, we've got Nedlovo in goal, and he's fantastic. He stopped that shot. Oh no, there it just registered. I was going to say he stopped that shot so early it didn't even register, but it was just slow for the game to pick it up. We're away, and this looks to be a very small pitch, which is not ideal for us. The wing play definitely benefits from having a wider pitch, but we're still getting some attacks. We're not looking impressive, but given the quality of players I brought, I don't expect us to look impressive. I'm just hoping we can steal one goal late and win it. A draw wouldn't be horrible given what our expectations for the season, where we're positioned in the table. I'll take a draw here. But there's that one goal I wanted to get from Makwakwana. So now it's just a matter of holding on to the lead. I feel pretty comfortable coming in with it. They really haven't had any good strikes against us so far. Like, they've been on target, but nothing that really posed the threat of slipping past Nedlovo. And even if they can get one back, that still just ties us, which, as I already said, I'm happy taking a tie from this match. That was perfect play on setting up that attack, though. We're starting to assert ourselves on the match now. Given that this team hasn't been playing together too much, I think it took us a little while to settle into being comfortable with each other, but they're starting to look better now. I say as they make a mistake, but we immediately recover thanks to Foster. There's also a fair bit of fatigue even in the team I've fielded. Like, everyone's looking a little tired already. A lot of people are sitting around the 70 mark, 69. For halftime, that's more tired than I'd like them to be. Told them to play a little harder second half. Tried to wake them up a bit. Walker's looking a little timid this game. That's not really what I'd like to see from him. And I don't love Margeman getting a yellow. I might actually end up losing Margeman. That was his 10th yellow card of the season. I think he's due for another suspension thanks to it. But I knew the end of April was going to be a rough patch for us, so nothing's happening that's got me too concerned. We are winning this match ugly, which is what I wanted from them. I'd like them to get the ball out of that corner. That would be nice. McQuaquin is positioning himself for a man of the match performance, I think. Blumini got us our second goal, so now I think we've probably won this. It's going to be really hard for Real Kings with the performance they've been putting on to get back 2 against us. I don't love how McQuaquin and Blumini looked like they were trying to play the exact same position there. They've been spread out for the most part, but for some reason on that goal they were clumped up about playing like number 9. Walker's lost a little of the punch on his attacks. He seems more interested in passing back to the defensive line than he is on trying to force crosses all of a sudden, so I wonder if his confidence took a hit with that loss. What change should I make? I think this is a pretty easy subbing of Saket Long. Even though he's the freshest player, he's just not playing well. So I'll put Manaka in and see if that can wake him up. Get some more action out of that side. Manaka's not great there, but he's comfortable playing the position. And we are up 2 goals. Everyone who's tired is playing really good. No one's really playing that badly. I'm going to take Safema off for Tau. This is more about keeping Tau in match shape than anything. Tau's almost down to 90 on match sharpness. I want to get him back up a bit. Because sometimes I have to depend on Tau taking that central spot. I haven't had to because I've been lucky on injuries. but I'd like to have him prepared if I need to. It was actually a pretty good attack from George. It was never really in danger of going in, but it was close. I don't know. I confused Sefema and Domini. Probably wouldn't have subbed Tau in if I remembered what position it was, but oh well. I made the sub now. Might as well make the best of it. Still worth Tau getting some minutes, even if he is just useful. Nothing more there, but hopefully Margeman doesn't get a second yellow so he doesn't have to take too much responsibility on himself. They're telling me Mirosavic and Walker are tired, which I know. But they're also two of the best players on the team this game, and I don't necessarily want to take them off. I've put in some weaker players already, and losing the guys that are actually having good games seems real risky. Do I have anyone from Margeman? Put Traore in for Margeman and see if I can shuffle things around. I really don't want to lose him to a second yellow. And it's indicating that there should be a way for me to make Traore work in that position. So I'm going to play around with the tactics and see if I can pull that off. Domini got his second goal, assisted by Walker. So Walker's starting to settle into his position. We're now comfortably 3 goals up. Traore. Let's see who they think should go. Yeah, there's the plan. Pulled Domini back here. And then Traore can play up here. And both of them won't be super impressive, but it gives us a functional midfield. And like I said, I'm not worried about them scoring 3 times in under 10 minutes. Mostly this is to keep me from getting Margeman red carded if he makes another mistake. I don't really care if Senamella gets red carded, but I don't want Margeman going down. Barely scored by Monaco there with Domini on the assist, but nice. I was not expecting us to win this by 4. I guess we had a statement to make after that disappointing chip-up performance. That was really weak from their goaltender. He should have had that. We're starting to check out, especially with that thrown together midfield I have right now. People aren't really pursuing balls the way I was hoping. Real Kings are bad this season, but if they were remotely in the game, this could be a real problem. That just the midfield is not. I don't know if they're not interested or if they're just unable. Because everyone's playing out of position in spots that they're not super comfortable with. But either way, they weren't following up on those balls for a while. The only news relating to us is Dlamini making his 25th appearance for our team. Everything else was about Real Kings. I am very happy with how that match played out. I thought we were going to win it, but I was prepared to win by 1 in an ugly match. We actually got one of our best results out of that. And we're only 4 points back from Orlando Pirates. We're currently tied on points with Supersport United. And actually, we're down to alphabetizing for separation because we have the exact same goal differential. But the big difference is we have a game in hand on them, so we should definitely be able to hold on to second. Lanzy's playing good on his loan. This Dlamini is also playing well on his loan. And other Dlamini was our player of the match. He stole it from Aquaquina. His form is fantastic lately. It's kind of unfortunate. He's already on perfect morale, so complimenting him on this stuff doesn't have any positive benefit. But I don't want to entirely gamify it, so if I tell everyone else they do good when they get a player of the match award, I should tell him too, even if it doesn't have any in-game effect, other than potentially pissing him off if I've told him it too many times. That's what I like to see. Absolutely no one had a bad game. 72% possession. .680 passes. Sometimes we actually play better when I put in the bad players, because they need to dig deep. They don't get overconfident. Mizizi had good training. Not a single hit on any stats. McFarlane. Yeah, I'm alright with this one being called no progress. I complained about the other, but he's only improved 3 stats. That's not much for a player on a professional team. I'm cutting Williams' playing time because I'm going to sell him over the summer. Almost certainly. I'd like to hold on to him. Like, Ben Williams is a really good player, but I don't think I can afford it. I'm probably going to sell everyone that's not African. Like, I'd almost like to sell every foreigner, but I don't know if I can pull that off. I definitely want to sell the, like, English people because I'm paying them a lot to live down here. This is a pretty big hit that we lost Traore. I could give him injections to try to nurse him through the end of the season, but I don't want to do that. I really don't like giving people injections. They tend to get hurt worse. But losing both Torre and Traore for a minimum of 4 weeks is a massive blow to the team. My aspirations of finishing the season in second or possibly even beating Pirates if they stumble late is probably right out the window because I'm not going to have good strikers for the rest of the season. I don't think I have Makwakwina, and I think that's it for people that are like above 2 stars playing striker on the team right now. Like, it was one of our more loaded positions, but it's also where we've been stacking up the serious injuries. Chikwekwe. He's kind of mid lately on his performances. Momad is doing alright. I think I'm probably going to let a lot of those guys on loan just go to those clubs. I might bring Chikwekwe back for next season because he's probably going to be of the caliber of my first team next season. Most of the others, I'm probably just going to unload. Busy week next week. Busy week the week after. That's going to be a rough week. Orlando followed by an international trip. I can't remember off the top of my head where Hearts of Oak are from, but I think it's about a 4,000-mile journey. I don't think it's going to matter because this game doesn't calculate for travel distances. Even with the stacking, at least Sinago's back. So the Melula risk last game paid off. Sinago and Siasi are both back. We're comfortable favorites for this match. Makwakwa is 2 goals away from setting our goal scoring record. Walker's 3 assists away from setting our assist record. And my dog has opinions about that fact. Fuck off. Fuck right off, Saudi Arabia. And we just lost Lomini, one of our key pieces. I mean, I know he hasn't accepted the deal yet, but Saudi Arabia has so much money that they can just outspend us. He'll almost certainly take the deal. So right now it's just a matter of hopefully I can hold on to him for this match. Like, hopefully he doesn't leave. But he was going to be sliding in as our backup striker, because he's just about the only other remaining striker at the club. Like, he's not good as a striker, but when Makwakwana needs breaks, which this schedule he's absolutely going to need, I was counting on slotting Dlamini up there and just hoping the wingers could cover, but it's going to get real ugly now. McFarlane's back. That's good. His match sharpness is garbage because I never use him. He's like emergency backup level. Watch next year he has to be in the team because he's one of the only people I can afford. We were able to hold on to Dlamini for this match at least, so that's nice. We're bringing a much better team this time again than we had last game. Senamela is not fantastic still, but he's the best I've got at that position, since I'm trying to avoid using Williams for financial reasons, so I didn't register him for this competition. Saketlong is pretty weak on the wing, but that's another position where I just don't have anyone really strong since the Arab nations got in there. I can't remember which country it was, but it was one of those Arabian nations with a ton of money. Got in and bought my good winger. I think that might have been Qatar. Hopefully Dlamini does not take that contract, but I am really worried that he's going to. As a team, we had to accept the deal. We need to get people off the books, and they just offer so much money for people. It might actually give us a positive cash flow for a month. This is a massive pitch compared to the one we were playing on in the earlier game against Supersport. This should help us quite a bit. It'll let our wingers get some space. We're already getting nicer looking attacks. As I lose a lot of my really high end players because of I tend to develop them beyond what the league can support, and then the Saudis or the Egyptians or the Qataris come in and buy them. But as I lose them, we really start to need these wider pitches to benefit because they're just not good enough to handle the close in ugly matches. They need the space to be able to control the match. It's going to be an interesting ride into the end of the season between losing Dlamini and then the amount of injuries to my strikers. I'm going to have some serious selection issues, I think, coming into the home stretch. Even though the board primarily wants me focused on league play, even though they're happy with top half finish, I might really turn my focus to Africa and try to get a trophy. Settle for top half in the country, but try to get a trophy in Africa. I think I can win that league unless I get really unlucky and get like Supersport or something in the finals. And even there, well, look at what we're doing to them now. I think Pirates are in a higher ranked tournament, so don't think they're too dangerous. I can't remember who's left in that tournament I'm in. It's the equivalent of the Europa League, not the Champions League, so it's pretty winnable for us. Might actually be the equivalent of the European Conference Cup. But I don't think it's quite that low a level. I don't think there is a third tier African tournament. That was a dangerous strike from them. I'm not loving that even though we're controlling this match, we're not finishing any strikes on target, really. But that's what I was afraid of when like our two best strikers went down. It's like McQuaquin is solid, but he doesn't seem to hit targets as well as Dlamini, especially not Dlamini, but Traore when he's crowded. He tends to just fire wildly and panic a bit. And after 7 years on this formation, the opposition's learning to crowd my striker. I probably need to tweak the formation, but I don't really have the personnel. I've been building for this formation for so long. So I'm not going to do anything drastic until I see the form my team's in for next season. Saket Long's playing pretty badly and is quite tired. I think I'll get rid of him. I really don't have anyone to put in for him. going to dump Fountain in and try to make something happen that way. Very weak strike there from Sefema. I don't know why they didn't recommend Fountain coming in, because this move of sticking Dlamini on the wing and Fountain in the center is pretty solid. Like, Dlamini's not super comfortable on the wing, but he's good there. That's why you listen to what your assistant coaches say, but you always leave some freedom to yourself, because they're just like, you've got no one to play this position. And I was able to very easily slot him into the team and get something functional. And not even functional. I don't think we've taken much of a hit in the team's quality by that substitution at all. Even without accounting for Saketlong having a bad game. Makwakwina is kind of weak on striking. Oh yeah, Shobeni exists. I forgot about him. Okay, losing Dlamini isn't so bad. I've got Shobeni and Tau can play in that position. I just brought all my strikers today to remind myself of how many I actually have. Shobeni's not a fantastic striker, but he's someone I can stick in there if I have to. He's at least useful in the position. Let's get him some minutes just to try to get him comfortable. I'd like to get a goal from this game. Like, I'm not playing for the draw here, but I also need to have someone prepared in case Makwakwina goes down or is just tired or suspended. I need to be able to get the next man ready. Alright, now that means giving Shobeni minutes at striking. Walker should have crossed that in. That was a weak strike where we had opportunities to make something happen. Everyone's looking pretty solid. About the same levels of fatigue. I guess I'll take Sefema off and let Tau get some more reps. He's fallen to 87% match sharpness. I need to have Tau in, even though I don't like him at this position. I just need to have him on the pitch. He's been disused for too long, and with the way the future of my club's looking, I need to have him ready to go when Dlamini goes. Because Tau will be taking Dlamini's spot most likely. They're looking really timid right now. Like, Supersport's not putting a lot of pressure on us, and we're just like, I don't know, guys. I don't think I can get the ball up through there. It's a good thing we're training attacking this week. I think Shobeni was offside there. But apparently he was not, because that wasn't whistled down. That might have been the strike we needed to win this, though. And we just hit the post. I feel like Supersport would be pretty happy to take a draw. So they're just going to waste a lot of time. Like, sure, they're going to strike, but they're perfectly happy to just waste time with the throw-ins and so. That was scary, but the only reason he was that open was because he was a mile offside. I say hyperbolically because he was just barely offside, but he was still offside. If we can't score off this corner, we're going to have to take a draw that I'm really not going to be happy with. Draws aren't the worst, but Nidlovo has played 273 minutes without being beaten. Safema made his 100th appearance. And that's it for stuff pertaining to us. We hold on to second place with a tie, and we still have the game in hand. So, I mean, if we were going to draw, that's the place to do it. But I think we're going to lose to Pirates next game. Senamela is about to cause us even more financial harm. I'm going to see if I can talk him out of it. Of course not. Knew he wouldn't take it because they never take that, but I had to ask. Domini needs to. Lanzi. I told everyone they were doing good, so they started slacking. Don't get lippy with me about you not playing well. Anyway, we'll just hop over here and take a look at our schedule for the rest of the season. We've got Hearts of Oak next. They're gone in, that's right. That's right, we're just playing our way through Ghana in this tournament. They're actually a decent team. They're not as bad as I remembered, but we should still comfortably win it. So we've got them at home, and then we've got the big one, our home match against Pirates, who are, on paper, just as good as us. But in practice, will most likely dominate us in that game, which will use up our game in hand that we have. I mean, we might still have the game in hand, but it'll give us the draw that the other side has, so it's going to make it tough to hold on to the second, especially if we lose Lamini, which I expect. I almost want to play another match just to see how that settles out, but I'm going to leave it off here. I've been doing 2 matches a game, or a recording session for basically every session so far. I'm going to keep it that way. So thank you for watching, everyone, and have a good day. At least we didn't lose.